big titties. I knew exactly what was supposed to happen.
You knew it was going to go to big titties?
Oh, I knew it. And it's true. It's
true. Hey now, everybody. How's it going? Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year, whatever the hell everybody's celebrating.
Is this coming out tomorrow from when we're recording this? Happy Friday the 13th, everybody.
Oh,
that's why I'm wearing my shirt.
We'll have to fit some of that into this talk too, since this will be coming out on Friday the 13th. But yeah, guys, how's everybody doing? I hope you enjoyed the little Christmas themed intro. I don't think it was long enough for me to get copyright striked. It was under 10 seconds. So Mariah Carey, if you're listening to this, I'm not going to make any money off this video anyway. So I thought about it, Christian. I really did. I actually have a list on my phone. I was going through Christmas songs and I was like, what can I work big titties into? Like, what's going to work? And I thought about...
Now it came right to my head. That's
yeah, but I thought Blue Christmas, and I was going to have... I'll have a Blue Christmas without big titties. Like, I was thinking of stuff, and I was like, nah, it's got to be Mariah Carey. But what's up, man? How's it going?
It's going. I've been sick for like a month on and off. And it's back again.
Bronchitis.
I got the frog in the throat, and it is what it is. I mean, as long as I don't get the headaches and shit, like I'll deal with it. But I don't know. I'm ready for this shit to be over. And I'm okay with the cold weather right now. It's cold, but it's not like deadly. I'm sure it's way worse by you, but
yeah. What are you guys at right now? Like, what are you dealing with today? Weather-wise,
40s and 50s.
Right now it's 16 with wind chill.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't envy that. How far away are you from Cleveland? Just curious.
About 3 hours. That's like the top of the state almost. I'm at the bottom.
Because Charlie Band has a mansion. He bought a mansion in Cleveland, and he basically uses that as his film studio where he makes all his movies. And I remember when I saw him at Texas Frightmare last year or this past year, he says, "Listen, dude, if you're ever in Cleveland, message my company, and if you're available on a day we're filming something, I'll put you in as an extra." He won't pay you, but dude, you should do that. You should go to Full Moon's website, see when they're filming stuff, and just say, "Hey, I want to be an extra in one of his movies." He'll put you in it.
I'll do it if you review the movie. You got to review the movie.
Of course. I'm dead ass serious too. He's like, listen, if you just message go to my website and go to my emails and just reach out. And if you show up when we're filming, we'll get you a pass. You can come to the mansion and film. He's filmed stuff at it, like home video stuff at his mansion. It's like an old house. It was built in like the 30s. It was like I don't know if I doubt it's a historic mansion or anything like that, but it was just like an old mansion he bought that he fixed.
I mean, any mansion is cool because, I don't see those every day. So, yeah, that's a reason to go to Cleveland. I'm going to throw a shot across the bow here. Cleveland sucks. Yeah, so if you live in Cleveland, I'm sorry. The Factory of Sadness, the Mistake by the Lake.
Do you have a lot of like... Where you're from, do you have like a lot of Indians fans there? Like, does everybody in the state pull for the Indians for baseball?
No, where I'm at right now, like demographically where I am, it's mostly Cincinnati Reds. The Cleveland fan base is really, really like centered in and around Cleveland. It doesn't really spread all that much throughout the state. I don't even see a lot of Browns fans in this area. It's just mostly Bengals fans.
Why do y'all have two teams for both football and baseball?
Some states do, man. You look at Florida, New York,
Doesn't Florida have 3?
California. Florida has, I believe,
Tampa Bay,
Los Angeles Rams,
Jacksonville.
Los Angeles Chargers, Jacksonville Jaguars. That's 4. Yeah. Miami Dolphins. Holy shit.
Well, the Los Angeles is California.
Oh wow, I'm a dumbass. Yeah. What am I
Yeah,
thinking?
they got
Miami, Tampa,
Dolphins, and Jacksonville.
Yeah, in Jacksonville.
That's wild.
Well, Florida's a huge state. You know, I guess but I mean, California, same thing. San Fran, LA. They got 3. New York has 3 as well. Although that might offend some people in that area because I know certain fans, like the Jets fans, a lot of them consider themselves from Jersey, not from New York, but It is the New York Jets. So it's all about the market too, how large the market is.
It's got to be miserable being like a Jets fan.
Yeah, I can't even think about it. I mean, same thing as like a Cleveland Browns fan. I mean, seriously, like, what do you do? Do you hype yourself up like every offseason thinking this is the year, but you really know it's never going to be the year?
You know what, though? Like, it may be more fun being a fan of teams like that because every time you get a win, it's like a bigger deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about how the Chicago Cubs fans felt. But just decades and decades of piss poor baseball. And then all of a sudden they win a World Series. Like, was
it New York or was it Chicago where like the legend was like somebody buried a jersey in the concrete or something?
Oh,
or was that like a goat or some shit?
I don't know because I don't think it's Chicago. I could be wrong because Chicago's curse was that playoff game where the fan reached over and grabbed the foul ball. I can't even remember the guy's name.
Oh, I remember that clip.
And it ended up losing that game, and it derailed. I mean, it was like everybody blamed that guy. He was getting death threats like it for years. Like he couldn't. I felt so bad for the guy because anybody would have gone for that foul ball. I'd have been like, oh, I can catch it. Cool. Like whatever. Yeah, that was. But sports fans, man, diehard sports fans, you don't mess with them. I mean, they'll catch a body over their favorite team. They really will. You know, Christian, I want to tell you something that was really petty. I got an employee. He's a big Bengals fan, and he was
the Bungles.
Yeah, he was jawing at me 2 weeks ago, right before the Steelers played the Bengals. He was jawing at me, and the first time I saw him after the Steelers beat the Bengals, I was like, "Hey, Matt, man, who day?" And just being a dick, just in jest. And one of my other drivers who's a Bengals fan, I could tell he got offended. And he was like, yeah, well, we'll see what you're saying when they lose in the first round of the playoffs. And I was like, well, at least we'll be there. And for the next couple hours, I was just thinking about that. And I was like, we got to win a playoff game just so I can rub it in this motherfucker's face. Like, we have to win one. Like, I can't let go of this. So, yeah, man, diehard sports fans, it's different. It's different. I don't recommend it. You should be lucky that you don't religiously follow any team like that.
You know what's crazy, dude? Like, growing up, before Katrina, that was my life. People wonder, like, well, Christian, what were you into before movies and horror stuff and all that? Dude, it was really sports. Like, I was obviously a big football fan, and
the Bears, right?
Yeah. I liked it. I don't know what it was. My grandma, she used to go to Chicago a lot in the 80s and 90s, and she loved it. She used to love going to Chicago and San Francisco. She told me stories about how, like, in the early 90s, how beautiful San Francisco was. You know, now if you go into a Walgreens, you better have a bulletproof vest on. But
yeah, there's shit outside on the walls.
Oh, it's insane. It's insane. But, you know, she would always talk about Chicago. So, like, I always gravitated towards that city. I'd love to visit it one day. But, yeah, I always liked the Bears growing up. And I used to have jerseys of a running back for the Bears. He was a big deal. White dude, Brian Urlacher. I used to have Urlacher jerseys all the time when I was a kid.
Oh, Urlacher, he was a linebacker.
But, what did I say?
He did get the ball a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. He did carry the ball a couple times in his career.
Yeah. I used to Urlacher. It was a Brian Urlacher. I used to have jerseys of him all the time. But yeah, I got every EA Madden every year it would come out. I remember Madden 2004 probably being like, you know what's crazy? I saw this on TikTok. I'm assuming when you were growing up, you played all those games too, like Madden 2002, Madden 2000.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I didn't realize how much those games shaped my musical taste. Like, dude, Madden 2004 has like fucking AFI on the soundtrack.
yeah.
Like no shit. Like the soundtracks to those games were like legendary, and I didn't realize they were shaping my musical taste growing up.
Yep, them and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the
yeah.
soundtracks for those games. Yeah, you had I can't remember. I mean,
That's
over
how
the
everybody heard of
years-
CKY.
Yes,
with 96
yes.
Human Beings.
That
Tony Hawk's Pro
and
Skater 2 is what that was on. It was huge.
Uh-huh.
No,
And-
that was 3. Excuse me. 2 had Guerrilla Radio from Rage Against the Machine, and
Yeah.
that was where like I remember hearing about them for the first time.
It's it is crazy. The one of the Madden games, like they've had Limp Bizkit on
Yeah.
there before. I mean, yeah. Well, was it
I'm gonna look
the
this
late
up.
90s, early 2000s was so weird, bro. Like you go back to that time in music, and it was just like it was different. It's not a golden era like the 70s or the 80s, but like there's just something
It
about
kinda
that
is.
era.
It kinda is.
I feel like it's getting to that point, right? Like it's like whether it was like Limp Bizkit, Creed, like there was just shit that I don't know. Even Disturbed is like a meme now, and Five Finger Death Punch. But remember back then in the early 2000s, they were fucking huge, dude.
Oh, dude.
Everybody listened to them.
Ooh, All right, so this is Madden 2003. Party Hard by Andrew WK. Let's get a party going. Let's get a party.
Yes.
The Anthem by Good Charlotte was on Madden
Yep.
2003. Anwa Rock Remix by Nappy Roots. The Energy by Audio Vent. I don't remember that. Walk Away Epidemic. Get Over It by OK Go. Fine Again by Seether. So I think it was, like I said, let me look it up. 2004, Madden 2004, like had this insanely good soundtrack.
Was that
That's
the
what
year
Michael
with
Vick on the
Michael
cover.
Vick? Yeah,
Yes.
Michael Vick. Yes.
And I had, dude, fucking Edema. All right, so dude, hold on. Let me fix my beanie real quick. This is fucking crazy. All right.
Time capsule.
This is the Madden 2004 soundtrack. I need this on vinyl. You ready?
I'm ready.
Unstable by Edema, which is like one of my favorite. Like they never really broke, but I think that's Jonathan Davis's brother, who's a singer, I think, or he's related to somebody from Korn. But like Edema was a great band. They also had a song on Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Immortal, which was like the opening song for that game. The Leaving Song Part 2 by fucking AFI on Madden. These Days, Alien Ant Farm, Chapter 4, Avenged Sevenfold, Feeling This, Blink-182,
Yes.
Never Scared by Bone Crusher, Back in the Mud, Bubba Sparks, Give Up the Grudge by Gob, Are You Gonna Be My Girl, Jet? That song was huge.
Huge, massive, yeah.
Pump It Up, Joe Budden, Akshan's whatever, Killer Mike, Round the Globe, Nappy Roots, and he's about here on 2 in a row. Church by Outkast, Pride by Soil. Soil was such a good hard rock band. Rock You the Roots, All That's Left by Thrice, and Way Away by Yellow Card. Like, dude, that is like,
Wow.
that is it's just, I didn't realize it, but like the Madden games had like, it's insane how, dude, imagine you turn on Madden and you just hear, like,
Oh, no.
Pumped up.
I remember sitting there like after you hit start, before you pick the game mode or anything like that, and sometimes just sitting at that screen and letting the music play, because it's just like you like that shit. Like it's not the same anymore, dude. Like the newest Madden games, because my brother gets the new one every year. It's mostly rap now. Like it's mostly rap, contemporary music, and I just don't really listen to that. But yeah, back then, dude, you could have just sat at that menu screen and fucking rocked out, dude. Like,
here's 2005, The Clincher by Chevelle, Open Your Eyes by Alter Bridge. That first album from them just came out. It was huge.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Madden Rematch by the DOC, From Out of Nowhere, from fucking Faith No More. Take Me Out, Franz Ferdinand. You remember that song? Don't you know? That song was huge. American Idiot by Green Day. Same Direction by Hoobastank. Dude, I was talking to my band about this the other day. Like Hoobastank, of course, like they had that song "The Reason," which was literally probably one of the big. I think it's crossed 1 billion streams on Spotify.
It was one of the biggest songs of the 2000s for sure.
But so I got to see them live in 2007. They played with Papa Roach, and I hadn't really listened to much of Hoobastank. Dude, they are like a fucking. They were a. This was 2007, mind you, but they were a phenomenal hard rock band. And so then I finally went back and I listened to them. They had some songs I didn't realize that was them, but they're actually like they were so tight and they were heavy as shit. You remember that song "Out of Control" by them? What should I go? What should I do?
Yeah.
I don't understand what you want for like I was like, holy shit. So they actually were my favorite. They were better than Papa Roach. It was them, Papa Roach, and I think Seether. Because Seether just like lived on tour in the late 2000s. I couldn't like they were always playing. And Hoobastank was like the best band that night, and they were fucking amazing. So I still think they're underrated as a rock band. Newfound Glory, the Disaster was on there. This is where they started implementing more rap stuff, but it was good shit. Like DMX was on here.
Yep.
Ozzy Motley.
One of the games one year had the Linkin Park and Jay-Z. Bad timing for Jay-Z.
Probably 2007.
Yeah, it had that song on it if I remember correctly.
But by the way, 05 had Ray Lewis on the cover, which I remember that was. Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, bro. He was a murderer.
I'm looking at he was. Okay, dude, 06 was a big one too. Holy shit. Listen to 2006. Dude, this is the greatest. All right. Attack by 30 Seconds to Mars.
Good song.
Night Drive by the All American Rejects. They were huge.
Yeah, I love them, dude.
You ready for this? Matt 2006. Bat Country by Avenged.
Yes. Fuck yeah.
4 Words by Bullet for My Valentine.
I never liked them.
They were like, yeah, they were like, they had some good shit, but they were really like, I hate to say that they're a girl band, but like they really found their stride with those super kind of like ballady songs, like super emotional. They're fine, but I don't listen to them a whole lot. Chameleonaire, Hate in Your Eyes, that's where he really was getting big. Welcome Home by Cody and Kid.
Yes.
Just
no. Let me tell you something.
Imagine cranking the speakers on Madden and just rocking the fuck out.
There was like a 4-year period in my teenage years where Welcome Home was like my favorite song. And it was my favorite thing to play on Rock Band every single time. Like Welcome Home. Oh my God, dude. I never even listened to much Coheed. But that song, give me it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a weird band. Like I've looked into them because when you find Coheed fans, they're weird people to begin with. But like when you finally like really listen to them, Welcome Home is not a good representation of what that band sounds like. They're definitely a prog band. And you know what's so funny is I remember it was I know it was right after Katrina because we were in my parents' house. It wasn't more than the first year where Fuse was still a big thing and they would play the countdowns for the songs. And I remember Welcome Home started coming on at that time. What was so interesting is that song sounded like it was one of those songs where it wasn't relevant to what music was at that time. But for some reason it just hit. And people loved it because it was like this incredibly well-written, almost Peter Jackson-esque song that like represented like this huge war. You know what I'm saying?
It felt like an epic. It feels like an epic. Yeah.
And it just broke. Like it went super mainstream. But if you ask anybody else that's like has like what's another Coheed song? Like I couldn't really I've listened to them. I remember listening to that record top to bottom, and I was just like, man. It kind of bummed me out, but I was like, I don't think I'm really a big fan of these guys.
No, it was just Welcome Home, and I tried to listen to that record myself. Because my buddy, he was a huge Coheed fan. That's how I learned. That's how I listened to Welcome Home for the first time, and I tried to listen to that album with him in his car like multiple times, and it just never stuck with me. But Welcome Home, that song, brother, it's like a modern day Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, and some people like don't get offended by that comparison, guys. But I say that because like Bohemian Rhapsody was an epic of its time. It was a multiple part song. Like it breaks in multiple parts. It progresses. Like I feel like Welcome Home was like that too. Yeah, dude, that song is an all freaking timer.
Well, I tell you what, like it was big enough to where those guys can just tour on that the rest of their career. Like they never have to. I don't think they ever had a top 10 hit again.
No, I mean same thing with what Hoobastank. The reason made those guys rich.
Yeah, they had a few. They had some stuff that charted, but nothing. Like the reason was a #1 video, #1. I remember the video. Just it's crazy, dude. How much video? I think video's like still a thing because like if you go on YouTube, like all these music videos, especially a lot of the rap stuff, dude, they're getting 40 million views. Like some stuff, it's insane the views on stuff. But I don't know, man. It just goes back to like when TV was the medium, and how much like you could think of a song from that era and visually you remember like remember that Nickelback song, How the Hell We Wind Up Like This? Like the video instantly starts playing in my head of the couple and the guy's really a ghost or what, she's a ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like instantly all this stuff comes right back, and the girl walking in the Reason, like when the keyboard starts dum bum bum bum, like it all just floods right back to me.
Someday, somehow.
But check us out. Let me continue. You ready?
Ready.
Madden 2000s, because there's something on here that makes me fucking laugh. Like I don't know why this is on here. Welcome Home, 10,000 Fists by Disturbed.
Yes.
Dance Dance, Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
No Way Back, Foo Fighters. Bring It On by Godsmack. Some of these artists too, dude, like Slim Thug, Spiderlock. Oh, Tech Nine was on there. Isn't Tech Nine still popular? But okay, listen to this. Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Oh my God.
So hold on. I want you to imagine you're whatever. Like I was okay in 2006. So the game came out in 2005. I was 14, right? In 2005. I get Madden 06 on GameCube, which is what I think I was playing at the time. GameCube or whatever. It was GameCube. Me and my brother like, yo, we got the new Madden game. Let's fucking go. You turn it on. Bum 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 bum. Like imagine that's what sets the tone for you to be able to fucking start cracking skulls.
Yeah.
Wake Me Up in September. I want to know why the fuck that's on there.
That it does not fit. It doesn't fit at all. Like there's American Idiot at least fit a little bit, but like
that was on 05.
Yeah.
So
no. Going back to these songs and these soundtracks, it's making me think of a band from that time that I really used to like that nobody talks about anymore. And I'm sure you know what happened to them. Maybe they're still a band. I don't know. Audio Slave?
Oh, yeah. Chris Cornell's dead.
Well, yeah. Duh. No shit. But they weren't still a thing, though, near the end of his life, though, right?
They never like broke up or anything. They put out a few records that were they were big records that people loved them, and they kind of just did their thing, and they would do shows throughout the years. But no, at the time, the last few years of Chris's life, I don't think they were constantly touring. I think Rage had kind of started doing shows again and things like that. But I'd take Audio Slave over Rage Against the Machine every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Not even a question. I was never a Rage Against the Machine fan. I'm sorry. I really wasn't. And then I remember the era. It was very short-lived, and you'd have to tell me if they actually did a full record with this lineup. But I know that they released a song, Stone Temple Pilots, with Chester Bennington as like who's supposed to be their new singer, and I really liked that song. And he was supposed to be like their fill-in singer now. Did they ever release a full length with him as the vocalist?
I don't think so, but I do remember watching a concert with him singing, and I thought I was going to hate it, and I ended up really liking it. The concert, it had to have been on YouTube.
I remember the single they released with him, I liked a lot, actually, because I thought I wasn't going to like it either. But I don't think they ever did an album.
Let me see. They released an EP, it looks like, with okay, High Rise. It's from 2013. It says High Rise is an EP by American rock band Stone Temple Pilots, released on October 8th, 2013, through their self-record label Playpen. Blah blah blah. It is the first release by the band without former vocalist Scott Weiland. The only release to feature Chester of Linkin Park on lead vocals. All right, so yeah, High Rise from 2013. Let me see how many songs. Oh, I can look right here. What am I doing?
What was the single name?
It's a 5-track EP, and it looks like the singles. There were 2 singles, "Out of Time" and "Blackheart."
It was Out of Time, I believe. Yeah.
I bet you that went. I wonder if that went platinum. I don't know. High Rise debuted at number 24 on the Billboard 200, selling 13,000 copies in its first week. That's actually a lot for 2013. Well, it's good for 2013 numbers.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, if anything, like, because stuff still technically goes platinum today. Like I'll see like Nicki Minaj get like certified gold or platinum for a new single. I'm like, but how do you certify?
It's hard with Spotify. It's really hard with Spotify these days. Yeah. That's what you see bandied about more than anything now. Oh, this song has crossed 100 million plays on Spotify. And it's like, well, okay, but how do you really like, there's no way to quantify is that 100 million unique plays? Is that 5 million from one person? I mean, there's no way to really like.
It annoys me that, I don't know.
Yeah, back in the day, man, that was the way you tracked it. And I remember obsessing over that stuff years ago because as a kid, I think my favorite artists were Metallica, Linkin Park, Eminem, in no particular order. Those were just like the 3. And I remember when my brother was coming up, he was a couple years younger than me. So his era really was more of like the Drake breakout with the album Take Care, which is a really good album. Don't get me wrong. But like we always had these arguments because he would try to make the case that like Drake was the GOAT. I'm sorry. Anybody that makes that case, you're just unserious when you're talking about that as like a rapper. But and I'm like, dude, Eminem shits on him, like just with pure sales. And then he would throw up Spotify shit. And I'm like, that's not the same thing. Like Eminem has multiple diamond albums. Like, I don't think people understand how like stupid popular Diamond is. Like you have one Diamond album, you're probably set for life. Like probably.
And what is that? That's 10 million records?
Yes, 10 million.
Who
Eminem has 3 Diamond.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's so funny to me with Drake because I'll only see him as the guy from Degrassi. Because I used to, dude, I love when he got shot in the back on Degrassi. Like that was real shit. Dude, I loved Degrassi. I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, it's a bad time to be a Drake fan now, though. So,
Was he at the Diddy parties?
It wasn't that. It was that he got absolutely flamed earlier this year by Kendrick Lamar with that song Not Like Us, which I didn't care. I don't listen to that stuff, so I didn't care either way. But the internet was really making fun of Drake because
give me the skibbity on that.
Oh god, brain rot. I guess basically, like, I don't know who fired the first shot, whether it was him or whether it was Kendrick, but it was Kendrick's response to a diss that Drake had dropped. And I guess essentially the entire message of Not Like Us is like, you're a fake gangster, you're not actually hard, you're soft as fuck. And he also calls him a pedophile in the song. And there's also like, well, because there's been let's just say there's been a lot of documented instances over the years of Drake commenting or DMing famous people when they were like 17, and it's just kind of weird. So like Kendrick Lamar, he like Millie Bobby Brown, he like was like really friendly with her when she was like 17 years old, and people were like, that's really weird, dude.
Oh god.
Yeah, so it's just stuff like that. Now, whether that actually rises to the level of him having intent, I don't think it really matters. The point is that it's just weird. Like especially when you're that rich and that famous, why are you doing that? I don't really get it. So yeah, Kendrick Lamar kind of just like ended Drake. And if there's any Drake fans listening, again, guys, I didn't take a side in this. I don't care. I just heard all about it because my brother is probably Drake's #1 fan. And every day I saw him on Twitter arguing with Kendrick Lamar fans every single day. And I would screenshot them sometimes and text them to him and be like, you're corny as fuck, bro. Like you got to log off. Like it's just like, I wasn't going around the internet replying to people talking shit about Halloween Ends when the movie came out. I didn't care. I don't need you to agree with me. So like my brother doing that, I was just like, it just looks so corny, dude. Like who cares? I don't know. So yeah, I didn't take a side in the beef, but I can tell you that optically Kendrick Lamar definitely won that beef. Yeah. So
I believe that. I don't know much about Kendrick Lamar, but it seems like a lot. He's got to be like super super popular, right?
he's really smart. He's a great lyricist. So and that intelligence shows in it. He's one of the most popular today, but so is Drake. But as I've said many times, Drake is more about his hooks and his ghostwriters that write songs for him. And I don't really have respect for that. Come out the mud like Eminem did, grow up in a trailer park in fucking downtown Detroit, and makes, that stuff. I respect that stuff. So well, first half hour was on music, guys. Next half hour, Christian. It's Christmas time, man. And we talk about this every year. And you're not huge into the season, are you? Or maybe you are, but not so much the music, not so much. You don't feel a need to cram a bunch of Christmas movies in, do you? Like,
horror, not. It's weird, like horror, not really. But I also take breaks, so like, I'm gonna watch this probably late tomorrow night or Saturday. I got to review this Silent Night, Deadly Night, the original in 4K. So I'll watch this. I haven't watched this in a number of years, probably since 2019, 2020 maybe. So I'm looking forward to that, and I kind of want to watch Silent Deadly Night 4 because it's the only thing Christmas about it is the fact that it takes place on the holiday, but it's really just a weird kind of like
isn't that the one with witches?
Yeah, it's just a weird movie. And Brian,
shout out Mark. Mark loves that movie. Says it's his favorite one.
I do too. I love Brian Hughes though, so I'll watch that. But like I watch Christmas movies, but I get burnt out on stuff so quick. I don't know what it is about it. So what I usually do during the winter time is I really start getting into dramas and actions, and I tell you what, I'm getting ready to watch, dude. I've never seen this movie. It's just one of those movies I've never seen. Kind of like Interstellar when we talked about that, which to me, I've thought about that movie a lot since I've seen it.
It's out in IMAX right now.
I know. I think it was a one night thing, unless they're adding it, but it's
still going.
Yeah. I think, without sounding dramatic, I think Interstellar may be the best movie I've ever seen. Like it's better than. It's like I always saw Titanic as truly being like one of the most amazing films ever made, and I think Interstellar beats that. There's a chance over some time I'll look at Christopher Nolan as one of the most important directors of our generation.
I agree with you, but one of the things too is like we've talked about this. I don't think enough people talk about Nolan's highs are incredibly high, but he definitely has some stinkers. Every director does. But and we talked about that before you saw Interstellar, because I know there wasn't trepidation, but you didn't go into that like this. I know this is going to be great because it's Nolan.
No, I remember let's see what he's got. Kind of.
I know, thing. But I remember you saying like, but hey, I didn't like Inception, and I didn't like Tenet,
I can respect Inception, but like I just I don't know. Like it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't work for me. It's just like this is what's captivated the world at this time. I was entertained, but I was just like, I don't know. I didn't like. He did Tenet, right?
Yeah. I mentioned that too. I know you said you weren't a fan of that.
Wasn't a big fan of that. Oppenheimer, I enjoyed a lot. I thought it was really good, but I don't know. I don't see how. I mean, Interstellar, that's got to be his most revered movie, right? Out of everything he's done. I mean, it has to be, right?
Oh, believe it or not, it didn't even make 200 million domestic. Like it's Interstellar is a movie that it gained more of a following in the years since its release.
Right.
And whereas like I would say his magnum opus for most people is The Dark Knight.
Oh, I keep forgetting he did those goddamn Batman movies.
Yeah, that's probably his magnum opus for most people. I don't think The Dark Knight's his best movie. I'm gonna say that. I have a minority opinion that I personally think that Oppenheimer is the best.
Over Interstellar?
Well, you got to understand,
dude. When he breaks down,
I'm a history buff.
I know, but dude, when he broke down, seeing his kids on the camera after like they came back from, dude, McConaughey, he was so good in that. It blew me away. Like, I always know McConaughey's a good actor, right? But dude, his earnesty, like, to me, McConaughey is as good as like Tom Cruise. And I'm not saying that sarcastically, because if people think I'm joking saying Tom Cruise, like, no, Tom Cruise is definitely
he's a great actor.
He's one of the best ever.
Yeah.
Dude, I loved Oppenheimer, don't get me wrong, but I just thought Interstellar, like, I couldn't get the movie out of my head. It wasn't the imagery. It's what is this feeling inside of me. It stuck with me.
And that's the thing for me with Oppenheimer, though. But it's different. I know exactly what you're talking about with Interstellar. I actually would probably put Interstellar right above The Dark Knight, actually. As the years have gone on, and especially after The Batman came out, which is my favorite Batman movie, I've started to go, The Dark Knight's got some flaws. Great movie, but it's got some flaws. But for me, Oppenheimer filled me with like an existential dread. Because, like, obviously, World War II history, World War I, World War II, that's my sweet spot. Like, I love that so much. And the fact that movie was basically just chronicling what I believe will end up being the end of mankind as we know it, which will be nuclear war. Like, it's eventually going to happen. Probably not in our lifetimes. Don't worry, guys. But, like, that movie chronicled that. And you got to see it from the human side of, like, I helped create this, and I feel so guilty. And then our government was like, fuck you, we don't have any use for you anymore. We're going to call you a commie bastard now and like excommunicate you and ruin your life because you won't build a bigger bomb. Like, it's just wild. And that was my sweet spot. One thing I found interesting about that personally, and I want to know your thoughts on this, a movie like Interstellar, I totally get why that gets IMAX screens. That has multiple IMAX worthy sequences, 100%. Oppenheimer had one. The Trinity test sequence was the only thing about that movie that was not dialogue and story. Like, it was literally just the test sequence, and it's incredible. Like, that Trinity test sequence is incredible. But, like, they built this up like it was going to be some, like, you got to see an IMAX Christopher Nolan action movie. Now, I knew going into it wasn't going to be. Like, there's no way. But it's weird. I don't know. They're very different movies. They're very, very different movies. But I agree with you just on the point of, like, he's probably one of the most influential filmmakers of this generation, for sure. Like, people will look back on him fondly.
I need to see Insomnia. He did it in 2002. It's got Al Pacino in it.
Some of his earlier movies, man, they're hidden gems. They're not Nolan at his best, but some of them, he's always been really, really talented. I like him. I like Nolan a lot. I really, really do. Did you hear that Mike Flanagan is writing a new Batman universe spinoff? Like, after the success of The Penguin, they greenlit a spinoff film about Clayface, and Mike Flanagan's writing it, and it starts filming next year. This whole Robert Pattinson Batman is spawning like an entire universe, and this is a universe I'll follow. Did you finish The Penguin, or did you even start it?
I felt horrible. I watched one episode. I need to finish it. I got
caught like up. The episode?
Yeah. Oh, I loved it.
Okay, cool.
I just got to finish. I got to finish it.
This will be a universe I think you're going to want to follow for sure. Cause I'm all on board with this universe, man. I cannot wait.
You were asking me something earlier, and I was going to try to get back on track. Christmas movies.
Yeah. Well, I just said, do you ever feel the need like you have to cram certain ones in? Are there ones that you find overrated that you're like, I'm not watching this shit?
A Christmas Story.
Same.
Like,
yes, I never watch it. Never.
I don't blame. I truly. It's one of those things where it must have been cheap to show on TV, or AMC maybe just paid for the movie, like, or Ted Turner did. One of those guys probably just bought the television rights for it, and they just shoved it. Like, I think it's a forced classic, right? Because it didn't break anything box office wise, I don't believe, and
No.
it's just one of those movies where, like, they just shoved it down your throat enough to where eventually, it's one. I can watch it, but like, if it, I could think it's like that's the greatest Christmas movie ever. What? Like, no. To me, it's Christmas Vacation, or I think Home Alone is like 10 times better than A Christmas Story.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, yeah. I think, you're right, but you know why it's such a forced classic? It's because it's on TV on Christmas Day for 24 hours straight every.
They still do that too.
Year. Yep, every year, and it's like, bro, what are we doing here? Like, you can't get away from it. The fragile, the fucking leg lamp, like it is so forced, and I've never liked it. I never, ever liked it. I'm not saying it's bad, guys. It's just not. It's never been my thing. And for people trying to convince me that it's on the same level as like Christmas Vacation or even Elf, and you know what?
Elf. I do love Elf.
I love Tim Allen's first two Santa Claus movies. I love the first two. I mean,
I gotta watch. Yeah, see, I'd watch those this year. I haven't seen those in a long time. I'd watch those. But
you can skip 3. It's not very good.
I wouldn't. I never make it. I never make it to 3 usually on some of these things.
Yeah,
but like, I'll watch Christmas movies. One of my favorites. It's a Christmas movie, but it's not. It's a deep cut. It's really not even a Christmas movie, but it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. It's a Chevy Chase movie called Funny Farm.
Yeah,
where he buys the house with his wife, and it's just disaster after disaster. But at the latter part of the movie, it becomes a Christmas movie, and it's just so funny. Like, I love that. I watch that a lot. I genuinely do like the George C. Scott Scrooged. What is that one called? Is it just called Scrooge?
It might just be called Scrooged. Yeah,
I have it on Blu-ray. Let me see. A Christmas Carol. Christmas Carol. It's from 1984, and it's got a great cast. David Warner's in it. He plays the Crackit guy that works for him. But George C. Scott's great in it because obviously he has no problem getting pissed off as an actor. So that's really good. I enjoy his Scrooge quite a lot. Like, if that got a 4K, I'd actually be really excited. I like that. City was watching it's this cartoon movie, but it's like a 3D cartoon. It was honestly creeping me out.
Oh God, is it Polar Express?
Polar Express, and she had it on, and I was like, God, these faces and stuff on these things, they're kind of creepy. And then I went on Reddit, and apparently that's a thing.
Oh, my ex-wife is terrified of that movie.
Yeah, they had these lifeless eyes, and I was like, okay, so I'm not alone. It's like a whole thing on the internet. So I was just like, City, why is this shit's kind of creepy? And she's like, no, it's not. I was like, look at those eyes and those characters. They're kind of lifeless. The whole movie looks like the Lawnmower Man, like that kind of like 3D animation stuff. Like, if that came out today, it would look better. But in 2004, I don't think it was good enough.
Do you know the backstory on that for her? Did she watch it as a kid? Do you know? Or when she was younger?
I'm sure she saw it in theaters. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Okay, the reason I ask is because I have learned in my experience that, like, if you watched that when it first came out and you were at a young, impressionable age, you have a favorable opinion of it. But if you didn't catch it at the time and you watched it later on, you have the thoughts you have on it. And it makes total sense. Like, if you didn't catch it at the time, going back to it years later, not going back to it, coming across it years later for the first time, you're like, this is fucking creepy, dude. Like, what? And because that's how my ex-wife was. I saw it in theaters. That came out in 2004, so I was 10.
Yeah.
And I liked it, but she did not see it when it came out back then, and she thinks it's creepy. And I actually showed it to my son 2 weeks ago, and he liked it. But
Right.
and Zemeckis has talked for years and years and years, and I think they're actually like seriously talking about a sequel right now. Which this whole trend of like 20 years later, let's do a sequel. I'm really kind of over that at this point, but we'll see how that goes, because there's a large sect of the populace that's like, this is creepy, I don't want to see another one.
Well, maybe if I see the new one when it comes out, I won't be creeped out by it.
No, you probably will. I would imagine it wouldn't be the same animation though. There's no similar, I'm sure, but it would probably look a lot better now. There was something I came across the other day that said, like, is it just me? It was a post on Twitter that went like viral. Someone said, is it just me, or is the Polar Express like actually kind of sinister? And I was like reading the like explanation the original poster was giving, and I was like, I guess I can see some of that, but I didn't take it that way. But that's one of those Christmas movies, man. I don't think there's a middle ground like with that movie. I really don't.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just thought of another movie I was gonna watch. Oh, Jingle All the Way with Schwarzenegger. I can watch that once a year, and I usually do.
What about the second one?
I've never seen it with. Is that with the cable dude?
I believe so. Yeah, I've never seen it either.
No, I can't bring myself to watch it.
We also need to stop doing that. We need to stop making sequels to stuff that really have nothing to do with the previous one. And
there's only one of those that's shitty, but I like it. It's Kindergarten Cop 2 with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh yeah. It's just like I just added Christmas Vacation 2. I mean, I guess because you brought Randy Quaid back, but like not really.
Oh, that's a masterpiece too. What are you talking about?
Dude, that movie is shit. Do you own it?
Of course I own it. I have it on DVD.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I want a 4K.
Never got a blue. Fuck, that's never getting a 4K. I own the DVD too. I remember I've told the story before. I saw it at Walmart one year in the $5 bin, and I was like, they made a sequel? I was like, oh, I got to watch this. Garbage. If you guys haven't seen it.
Yeah, but it's legendarily bad.
Oh, no, yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'll be one of the worst movies you've ever seen in your life. Like, it is really that bad. And even Randy Quaid can't save it. Like, he's just, it's trash. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about, I've watched some Christmas movies so far this year, but I haven't watched as many as I normally do. I don't know. I guess I don't want to burn myself out. I decided the other day that I was going to go back and rewatch the entire Resident Evil series. Because I haven't seen it in years. And I got to tell you, I never saw the last one. I remember the fifth one.
City?
Well, no, then the last two. I haven't seen the last two. I didn't see the last Mia Jovovich one either. The final chapter. The last one I saw was Resident Evil Retribution. And I remember thinking it was mostly dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
Went back and watched the first one today when I got home from work. Man, the effects are dog shit. But it's definitely a video game movie. Like it's definitely a video game movie. I had a good time. I remember the second one being my favorite though, Apocalypse.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 is great.
Yeah. So, and I remember, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, Extinction was pretty good. And then after the first three, it's like,
yeah, pretty much.
Kinda...
I got a box set of those like last year, and I was watching them. I played the games a lot, and I never really watched the movies. But I think two is really, really good, and then three's fine.
Did you watch the newest one, Welcome to Raccoon City?
No, I didn't. But dude, fuck Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. Just imagine a movie called Raccoon City. Like I'd be if you said, dude, are you going to check out that new movie called Raccoon City? I'd be like, fuck yeah. Like that's scary. That
sounds like a Full Moon feature thing, dude. Like,
welcome to Raccoon City. Oh my god.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I heard a lot of people say it was actually surprisingly decent. I don't believe it. I think it's a reboot. It's not at all tied to the six before that. See, that my issue though is Paul W.S. Anderson, man. I just think for the most part he's a shit director.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people don't like him.
because his sensibility is like sometimes it works in a video game movie. So like I said, I watched the first Resident Evil again today for the first time in probably 10 years. There was stuff I remembered that I really liked. There was stuff I didn't remember that I really did not like. And a lot of that is the director, his style, his sensibility. Like some of it works in a video game movie and some of it really doesn't. I'm not going to hold the effects against the movie because, dude, it was 2002. Like they were definitely punching above their weight when they made that movie. They didn't have the budget or the technology yet to really pull that off. So some of that computer generated shit is bad. But I'm not going to hold that against the movie. But his editing style is just at times, but again, video game movie. So, breakneck pace, choppy editing. I think that's kind of the point. I think he thinks it's stylish, but I don't really think it is.
When it comes to like horror game movies, like there is one shitty one that I like. And it's
Is it Doom with The Rock?
No, I actually did like the Doom that came out like in 2017. It was shitty, but I liked it. I forget what the name of it was. I bought the Blu-ray for it. You know what I'm talking about? Doom.
I never saw it, but I do remember it. Yes.
It was shitty, but it was good. It was like a House of the Dead by Uwe Boll. Oh. That's a shitty movie, but I love it. I remember it having Ellie Cornell in it.
Ellie Cornell. Yeah. Yep. She's in it.
But some of those, like when it comes to video game movie stuff, like I'll tell you what blew me away, dude. I don't know if you're into this at all. So, they had that Mortal Kombat that came out in 2020, I guess,
or 2020, yeah, one of those two.
I remember being like, I had some issues with it. There were things I liked about it, but to me, to not have Johnny Cage in the movie, to me is like truly criminal because he's like my favorite. Now they had some good. I really like Kano in the movie, but dude, maybe like 6 months later, I was at Walmart and I was looking at the Blu-rays, and there was this Blu-ray for a Mortal Kombat movie. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It was called Mortal Kombat: Scorpion's Revenge, and I looked at the back. I was like, "Oh, it's a fucking cartoon," but I bought it anyway, dude. It was gory as shit, and it was like really good. And I was blown away that they were making cartoons for this stuff, like rated R cartoons, and they're gory as fuck. So Scorpion's Revenge, I liked better than the movie that they did in 2020. It was fantastic. I have to look into more of that to see if they do that, but it makes me want to go back and watch like Batman Mask of the Phantasm because people tell me like that shit's really
great.
Good.
Mask of the Phantasm is great.
Mask of the Phantasm. What did I say?
Yes.
But yeah, like I hear about some of that shit, and it's just like, oh, that shit's legendary. Or the Joker, the Killing Joke, or some shit.
Killing Joke. Yep.
Yeah,
no. Mask of the Phantasm is one that I think a lot of Batman fans will say is one of their favorites. That is really good. Killing Joke is good. Yeah, they're making a sequel, or they did make it already for Mortal Kombat 2. Comes out next year, October.
Dude, they gotta have I think they teased Johnny Cage in it, but you gotta have Johnny Cage in there. I mean, you have to.
It's like that Power Rangers movie from 2017. They didn't have the Green Ranger, bro. They teased him at the very end.
Is that the one that passed away?
Yeah, recently. Yep.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, no, I loved that 27 Power Rangers movie because I obviously grew up with Power Rangers, and I was like, the final scene when they teased the Green Ranger, I was like, okay, cool, all right. I was wondering this whole time, where the fuck's the Green Ranger? And
they never did another one.
And then they didn't make a sequel because it didn't do well at the box office. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's another property that Hasbro is actively like rebooting right now is Power Rangers. So we'll see how that goes. I guess I really didn't think they could make Power Rangers that I would like as an adult. That wasn't too kiddie, wasn't too corny.
Zhu Ranger. To actually talk a little bit about horror while I was thinking about this, I go when it's cold outside. I use my treadmill in the living room to exercise, and so I watched The Visit. I got my 4K from Kino Lorber, and I was watching that. First of all, like it did look really good on 4K, but I got to be honest, there's no point in having a movie like that on 4K. So when I review it, I'm gonna sound like I'm bitching, but it's just reality. But anyway, I like it still, dude, but I do have some issues with it, like some kind of glaring issues. Um, so first of all, the thing about that movie that gets me is the performance of that old woman. And when I was watching it this time, I was like, she is so good that this has to be somebody in makeup. And sure enough, I looked it up. No, that's an 80. Now, today, that woman is alive and well. That's an 84-year-old woman today. So she was in her like 70s when she made that. It was what, 2015?
Yeah.
Fuck. It's about to be 10. That is insane. It's about to be 10 years old. But my issue with the movie now is, first of all, the kid rapping. It's extremely cringy listening to him. Yeah, because he just, like, when he raps on the train and raps at the house in front of the grandma, it's really bad. And I guess it's supposed to be cute because he's a 12-year-old kid, but it's bad. It's just you have to sit there and just like listen to it, and it's really cringy, and it's just bad.
Yeah.
And then the problem with the movie for me is the end, when they show the grandparents outside where the mom says, "Kids, that's not your grandparents." The fact, and Sydney was trying to defend the movie, but I was like, Sydney, the fact that they didn't just walk out of the house and just start bolting into town and just getting to a fucking you know, police station, or just finding an adult, or just going somewhere. The fact that they stayed in the house, the biggest, like, what the fuck moment ever. Like, why would they not get out? And she's like, well, sometimes it's easier to play along. And, what if they tried to get them when they get out? I said, City, they're senior citizens. They're not catching those kids. Like, the fact that they just didn't get out and just fucking book it when they were outside playing, I was just like, I couldn't get that out of my head. It annoyed me a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I was just like, you got to be fucking joking me. I mean, that doesn't say that I don't enjoy the stuff at the latter end of the movie. Like when she goes into the basement and she finds the grandparents like dead. I was like, oh shit. But it's a good movie. Entertainment value is through the roof. But that is a moment where I'm just like, I'd have been out. I would have literally, what's that movie? It's Forrest Gump, right? Where I just started running. Dude, that'd be me. I'd be running just getting the fuck out of there. So that annoyed me a little bit, but I still think it's a really good found footage movie. It doesn't really break any new ground in terms of like that subgenre in terms of technique. It's pretty straightforward, right? But I still like it a lot, but it's not perfect. It's not perfect by any stretch.
My issue with The Visit, really, I liked it too. You're right. The kid rapping and stuff. There's some cringe shit in that movie.
It's too long, and you have to sit there and just wait for it to be over with.
Yes, yeah. But my issue really was some of the online discourse about it. Like people were like, this is like peak Shyamalan is back. And I'm like, no, he's not. This is better than some of the recent outfits for sure. But like, this is not peak Shyamalan. I've accepted, I don't know where you're at with it. I've accepted peak Shyamalan's gone. We're never going to get that guy again. He had that run, few movies back to back to back that were just really, really good. His twists, surprised you. They paid off. The performances were great. I mean, look at The Sixth Sense. That movie has everything. Signs has everything you could want. The Village, although it pissed me off because of my expectations, I could make the argument that movie has everything you could want. I don't think that guy's ever coming back. I don't know if you get it, that lightning strikes twice. And I've wanted to believe it for like 20 years now. And he had Split. Split, I would say, was like old Shyamalan. For the most part, I thought that movie was great. But he's just like, he can't sustain it anymore. His next one's going to be at best. And like, that's just kind of where he's at now. And it's like, so The Visit in a pile of subpar movies in the last 10, 15 years for him is probably right up there, probably second best after Split. But like Glass, dude, super disappointing. Yeah. Knock at the Cabin, old. And then you've got Trap was the most recent one. And I think we both agreed where we were like, yeah, it was fine. You know, like really like Josh Hartnett in it. It was fine, but it's not. I mean, it's not the Shyamalan people are hoping for. I just don't think that guy's coming back, really.
I agree. There's always a bit of hope that I have that he's gonna make his the movie Signs like quality again, where like it's just this perfectly dude, it's so perfectly wrapped up. The theme is incredible. The performance of Mel Gibson it's fucking insane. So good. And I think he can do it again. I pray he does. I just don't know if he ever will.
Maybe
But
when he gets into like the third stage of his career, you know, when he's like Scorsese's age, he'll just churn one out that shocks everyone. I mean, maybe, but
yeah.
I don't know.
No, but it bums me out. Did he direct or did he just produce that one about the elevator shaft where they're stuck
Devil,
in the
he was not the director of Devil. I do not believe. I'm gonna make sure real quick because I don't want to sound stupid, but I'm pretty sure he was either just a producer or a co-writer.
that was
So
a PG-13 movie.
yes, Devil. No, he did not direct it. It was his story. That movie was. I felt like that was another one that was a bit overrated. I don't know how you feel about it. I thought it was fine. But like, man, people talked that movie up like that twist really shocked them. And I'm like, really?
I remember it being a big deal when it came out, but I mean that's about it. That's all I remember is when it came out, it was a big deal.
It's almost like Stephen King still writing books, you know? Like, look, I don't think you're going back to that, Stephen. Let's be honest, guys. Stephen King's best books he wrote were when he was like high and drunk. Like, I mean, it's just true. He was in a different state of mind, so he could write really nightmarish, trippy shit. Can't really write that now. And his endings, that is true, dude. His endings have never really been all that good. And I've read a lot of his books, and I can tell you,
like Stephen King endings.
Yes. And I can tell you I've read Pet Sematary, I've read it, I've read Rose Red. I've read a lot of his books when I was a teenager, and the endings just never land. I would say the movies do a better job a lot of the time, and even then, they're not. It's just like like a lot of those endings are just not great. He's like a guy I feel like that can just go when he's writing, and then when it's like, oh shit, I have to wrap this up. Okay, well, this weird shit happens and it doesn't really make sense. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there's ever gonna be like another Stephen King that just like his name is synonymous with the movies, because nowadays like stuff gets adapted, but you don't. I would say like some people may not realize, oh, this was a book. Like it's not really a part of the promotion anymore. Like dude, for him, like this is a movie based, like this is a Stephen King movie because it's based like his name preceded the title. It was so like he was so big. I just wonder if that's ever going to happen again. There's these books Sydney read. They're I think they were super popular. There's 3 of them. There was a first one called Clown in a Cornfield. She read, and then they did a sequel, and then they did a 3rd one. And City was like, "Oh, this is a phenomenon. These books are huge." And now that I read that they're making a movie off of it, and I mean, I doubt that's going to be like super popular. I mean, I doubt it's going to break pop culture like Stephen King stuff did. But you know, City keeps up with a lot of the horror books. She doesn't like watching the movies as much anymore, but she'll read the shit out of like the books and everything. Excuse me. But I mean, I'll watch that when it comes out. It's called Clown in a Cornfield. The artwork on the cover of the books is really cool. Adam Cesar is the author.
Okay.
And
Yeah, no, I mean, to your question though, I really don't know if we get many writers like that anymore that even try to be like a Stephen King. Like, part of that I feel like is because like print is kind of a dying media form, like or not media, a dying art form almost. At least in the fictional side of things, like a lot of people, in recent years, all the rage has been like the true crime, the docudrama stuff, like, and I mean, let's just call it what it is. That smut is really popular too for a lot of women and stuff. So it's just like, as far as like these original horror stories that are fictional, from a guy like Stephen King, I just don't think that's really all the rage right now. And I don't know if that'll ever come back. I mean, society has a way of like things always come full circle. There's always a boomerang effect. So I'm sure it'll happen eventually. But right now, no, I don't see it. Who was his son, Joe King? Even being Stephen's son, he still could never really. I mean, he's had an okay career, respectable career, but like even he couldn't break into the zeitgeist like his dad. Like,
and what was his thing? He wrote Black. He did the Black Phone, right?
yes, and he also the story The Boogeyman, I believe is.
Oh, that movie sucked, dude.
It was not very good.
I like the Boogeyman from like 2003 better. I saw that when it came out.
That movie freaked me out.
As a kid, it was terrifying.
Yeah. I
mean, it
was
terrifying as a kid.
Were you scared of that as a kid?
Oh,
Not that movie,
yeah.
but like the idea of the Boogeyman as a kid. Because I was scared of like the closet, under the bed. Like I was scared of that shit.
I mean, I was, but I never, the word Boogeyman was never like a huge word in my life, I guess. Like I was just scared of, I don't know, like I would take movies. I was scared of, like I would just imagine it would be Tim Curry's Pennywise, or I used to be mortified thinking about The Fly. My dad let me watch that when I was really little, and it fucked me up bad. I used to just be like, I'd look up in my corner of my room, and I'd be like, oh shit, like imagining him being up there, upside down on the roof, used to just mortify me. But no, I remember when the Boogeyman came out. Yeah, that was like 2000, whatever, 2, 3, or whatever. And I remember that movie scared the shit out of me. I remember I watched that, and the movie that fucked me up as a kid more than anything, was the opening of that movie Darkness Falls with the Tooth Fairy.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it fucked me up. I hate the movie, but like the first 10 minutes is probably one of the best openings in a horror movie I've ever seen. Like that opening sequence was fucking insane. I think it still is insane.
Do you they made like 2 sequels to the Boogeyman, right?
Yeah, I never saw them.
Neither did I.
I think I at least own 2, but I never. Why do I feel like Sam Raimi was involved with that?
Because it might have been Ghost House Pictures. It might have been. The Boogeyman.
There's like
that was 05.
There's like 3 Boogeymen. There's one from the 80s, but in Europe,
dude, Tobin Bell.
Yeah,
I didn't even remember he's in the first one. That's wild. Emily Deschanel's in it. I need to go back and watch that movie. I remember really liking that.
Well, dude, I must have saw that.
Produced by Sam Raimi. Yep.
Okay. Sony. I must have saw this, dude. I must have saw this right before Katrina, because I vividly remember watching it before Katrina, and it came out in February of 05. Katrina was August. Katrina was August of 05. So, dude, I probably saw it like literal weeks before Katrina, which is fucking crazy to think about.
Dude, listen to this though. So the Boogeyman came out in 05. It made $67 million.
Mm-hmm.
So it made over it was like 3.5 times its budget. So it was a bona fide success. So they quickly greenlit a sequel, came out less than 2 years later, and the sequel made $4 million. Like that was just a moment in time, I guess. And then, even though the second one was a bona fide flop,
it probably did really
one.
Well. That probably means
home video.
crushed on DVD.
Yeah. Well, then the third one
probably did, dude. Because if you wanted to watch shit in 2007, and like if you rented it or you bought it, so it probably fucked on DVD.
The third one, it got a very limited theatrical release, but listen to this. The third one made $150,000. So you went from, in a span of 3.5 years.
Oh, Tobin Bell's in the second one.
A bona fide hit in the first one. And not even 2 years later, nobody cared anymore. Nobody cared.
Well, that's crazy, too, because by 2008, Tobin Bell was like, he was on top of the world. Right?
Yeah, well, honestly, to think about it, dude, it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it, because that was really the era of Paranormal Activity and Saw. They kind of ruled the roost at that time. So, like, when the Boogeyman first came out, only one Saw movie had been out so far. And Paranormal Activity hadn't even started.
No, that's what I'm saying. So it was like, let me see. Okay, so the thing is, though, like, this came out, the second one came out in January of 2008. So I don't know. That's weird. It doesn't look too bad. I'm just looking at the pictures of it. Like, it looks fine. The Boogeyman doesn't look, I mean, it looks so 2000s, which I say as a compliment. Now, dude, there's these movies I need to watch both of them again, because I want to do a video about it. The Laid to Rest movies, these slasher films that came out.
That's the Chrome Skull guy, right?
Yeah, I think the first one's called Laid to Rest, and I have them. I remember I watched the first one, and it's not bad. I think Sean Whalen is in them, who, like, he's like, you know, a big horror guy that people remember from, like, People Under the Stairs. He was the guy that, like, hit with the fork. Yeah. Oh, I see one of them. Let me just grab it for the audience so they can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for anybody watching that has seen those, I've had many people over the years say, "Oh, you got to check out the Laid to Rest movies." I haven't seen them, but I do remember the Chrome Skull guy looking really cool. Like, I remember those images being like, "Oh, that's a cool get up for a killer."
Yeah, so this is the first one's just called Laid to Rest, but I think most people know it by Chrome Skull because of this. So this one is not bad. It's definitely a straight to video movie, but it's so funny because you're always talking about this guy. The most inventive death scene in years, Brad Miska of BloodyDisgusting.com. And this was from 2009. Is this a Blockbuster DVD? Okay, no, this is my National Video DVD. I bought it from them. And then the second one, which is how people kind of just know this series now, they call it this, Chrome Skull 2. This is the one I need to watch. I haven't watched this one, but Danielle Harris is in it. So I need to watch this one and then do a video on these, because I was going to, and then I just watched the first one and didn't. But I hear the second one's like really good. So I don't know. But I liked it. But like, one of these days we need to do a video, like do an episode, maybe next month or whatever, but like just a video on like SOV 2000s horror movies, because like, dude, I'm getting more and more obsessed with that genre the farther we get away from it. I love that stuff.
I could totally do that. That's the stuff that's the stuff we rented from Blockbuster. That's oh yeah, Wrong Turn is one from that time that was really popular. Dude, so much of that shit I'd love to do that personally. And if we had some criteria, like, okay, we're going to talk about this movie, make sure you watch this one. Like, but funny enough, you're talking about these, the Laid to Rest movies. When a couple months ago, when I finally watched The Collector and The Collection, I remember a lot of people, I don't know if I was wrong, but I thought the sentiment was a lot of people were like, you know, The Collector's okay, but The Collection is so much better. I completely disagree. Like, completely. The Collector I really liked. The Collection I did not care for. But
see, that's the, like, I remember liking the first Collector and not really liking the sequels, but it's honestly like, I think 2014 is when I watched them. I remember it was right before I moved out of my parents' house. So that's how long it's been. There's 3 of them though, right? The Collector, the Collection, the Collected.
a couple months ago, they finally announced like they are officially coming back. They started filming The Collected. They filmed for like a week, and then I believe it was during COVID. Everything got shut down and it never got picked up again. And people thought I was just going to die. And
I gotta
Marcus
watch this
Dunstan,
again.
I'm telling you, man, I really like The Collector. The Collector is like this home invasion thriller. It's really claustrophobic. It's gnarly in a lot of ways. I just dug everything about the first one. And then the second one is just like, there's way too many people. They really just try to turn it into like, let's kill as many people as we can in the craziest ways that we can. It just loses everything the first movie had. There's no tension. There's no... they try to make it larger scale in every way, and it just doesn't work for that premise. I just
That's
didn't think
the problem, man. You got this passion project where you make this movie, you don't have a lot of money, you get inventive, you get creative, boom, it does really well. All right, here's money. Here's money for you to overthink everything. Just it sucks.
Which is crazy because with the Boogeyman that we were just talking about, it made $67 million and it had a $20 million budget. Not even 2 years later, the sequel gets a $4 million budget. They made a shitload of money on the first one, greenlit a sequel, and they're like, all right, you're getting a third of the budget, though. Not even a third, a fourth of the budget.
Here's what gets to me about this. So I was Googling on my other monitor, like the movies as you were talking about them, just to look stuff up. And there's people also searched for with a bunch of movies, related to what we were just talking about, The Collector. And above there was You're Next.
Yep.
I saw that movie in theaters. It was not 2011 when I saw it. I saw it the year I saw Texas Chainsaw 3D, because I remember they had a preview for it in Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yeah.
So that means that this movie must have come out and got a splash at something, and then they decided to re-release it again, because there's no chance in hell people saw this in theater in 2011. There's no way. I have to look into it.
No, I've always considered that. I believe I always called it 2013, like a 2013 movie. I can't believe. Does Google say it's 2011?
Yeah. Let me Wikipedia it though.
Remember, that's very similar to the Trick or Treat situation. You know, that movie says it came out in 07, but it didn't really. It came out in 09 when everybody could actually like buy it and watch it. It said 07 because I think it had its like initial festival screening and then like a handful of screenings limited.
That's gotta be what
07.
it is.
Yeah, so they call it an 07 movie, but it's not really. I don't care when it was made. If the public couldn't get their hands on it until a different year, then we should probably just consider it that year. I don't know.
Dude, 2009 was a really good year for movies. There's a lot of good shit that year.
Oh man, 2009's goated.
But what's cool about it is like, dude, there's still big budget stuff that was coming out, and there were the remakes, but there were still those straight to video movies that like you just had to rent them to see them. Like Hunger, I remember renting that. God, there was just a lot of good shit. Sorority Row, I remember that. I'm not saying they were great movies, but I just like, dude, I just remember like that was, but I was watching them with like this level of naivety that I sometimes wish I still had, where I wasn't so critical about everything. Like I could watch that stuff back then with my friends or by myself and not say this is fucking terrible. Like, no, like that was movies to me back then, you know?
I pulled up a list here because I just want to like go through a couple of these because I guess we'll just tell everybody. We'll just tell everybody now. This will be next month's episode because now I'm really getting into this and like just looking at the list from the 2000s of like these straight to DVD horror movies. You had Candyman 3. You had like 5 Children of the Corn movies. You had American Psycho 2. I still haven't seen that, by the way, with Mila Kunis.
I own it. I just got it not long ago, but I didn't watch it yet. I heard it's not that great. But...
I've heard the same thing, but I love Mila Kunis. Obviously, you have, we have to do this because you got a bunch of Hellraiser movies in here as well, and I'm a mark for talking about that. Yeah, there's a lot on here, man. That it's just like a lot of the Leprechaun movies are in here. The Lost Boys sequels.
Speaking of Hellraiser, I'm so excited. What company was it? Was it Nameless Media? Let me see. Let me check my email.
If they announce some new Hellraiser shit, I need to know about it.
Well, no, I think I had told you about it.
I don't know. This might be the first I'm hearing of this.
I don't remember what company it was. It was a German company, but they released this German company put out Hellraiser Judgment on 4K. And it was announced maybe like it was a couple months ago. It was before Halloween, or around Halloween time where it got announced, and Diabolic DVD had it on their site, and they had two versions. They had one cover that was kind of like the poster where it's like that silver and that side profile of Pinhead, and then they had one. It was a blood red media book with kind of a front shot of Pinhead. They had one left of that, and I got that, and it shipped the other day.
Did you get it? Yeah,
yeah. So like, I'm excited to watch that in 4K and review that because it was so cool when we got to talk to what's his face about that movie,
Gary Tunnicliffe.
Yeah, because I remember watching that movie and just being like, I remember saying to myself, I was like, man, I feel like I don't have to make any excuses for this movie. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I have to say where I'm like, oh, I definitely enjoyed it. They definitely had issues with X, Y, or Z. I was just like, wow, this is good. And it's probably, I mean, like I would rate them 2, 1, 3, then 4. So I used to sometimes I want to put 4 over 3, but I just think 3 is really fucking fun. And then after that, I would say I would put Judgment at numbers. I guess that's number 6, 2, 1, 3.
No, that'd be 5.
I'd put Judgment at 5, dude. Like, some of those 2000s ones are passable. I can't remember if it was Deader. I think Deader is the really bad one.
No, Hellseeker is the really bad one.
Hellseeker. That's the police cop, right? Where like he shows up.
And you get that's Inferno, but it's basically Hellseeker is the exact same. It's like pretty much the same plot, but you get Ashley Lawrence for a cameo at the very end. And it's so fucking stupid. And the funny story behind all of that is that they couldn't get in touch with Ashley Lawrence when they wrote that script, and they wanted her to come back.
Did you do an overview video on that, or did you do individual reviews for them?
I did an overview. I did do some individual videos on them too.
You should have just cranked out a review for all of them, because the thumbnails you could have made for like the one that was like "Evil Goes Online" as the tagline,
dude,
like
Hell World fucking okay. That movie's fun though. That is the one
that
of the
tagline
DVD ones that I'm like, you know what, that one's fun.
But the tagline is just so "Evil Goes Online."
No, it's got Lance Henriksen in it, dude. The last line delivered by Doug Bradley's Pinhead, though, I'll never forgive Hellworld for it. It's the last line we ever got from Doug Bradley after he kills Lance Henriksen. He goes, it's like, how's that for a wake-up call? And the movie's over, and that is literally the last line we'll ever get from Doug Bradley as Pinhead.
I think he'll do it again,
dude.
It's not like it requires any level of athletic nature.
I mean, maybe not, but personally, I think that they've moved on. It was actually announced a couple months ago. The writers of 2022 said that they're actively developing a sequel. You want my opinion?
They're going to fuck it up horribly, because they're not going to be able to create that world of whatchamacallit. There's no way.
The Leviathan, Labyrinth, all that. Yeah.
You can tease it. Teasing it is really as much as I think you should do. I'm serious. I'm dead ass serious. I think you can tease it because you can say, holy shit, there it is. But once they, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I thought they teased it remarkably well in that movie, and they did a good job with it with Hellbound. But if they go into Leviathan, it's going to suck. It's just, it is.
Well, I don't think it'll end up happening. it's been 2 years, and the most we've heard is like, yeah, we're actively developing a sequel. Yeah, we heard that all throughout the 2000s with like every horror series ever. Everyone was always developing a sequel. It's not going to happen. But I will maintain, regardless of anybody's opinions on Hellraiser 2022, you know, I know most people said it was at least fine, and so that's good. It's just they completely dropped the ball on not releasing it in theaters. They made no money from it. I mean, you could have made some money,
It
but
was
they
really
just
stupid.
yeah, it was really dumb.
And then not to even put it out on home video. Like, dude, what the fuck? When they put out Prey, it sold. Dude, Prey was massive. Nobody could. Dude, people were climbing over each other to get that. And like the steel books and stuff were, you couldn't even get them in stores. The pre-orders online for it was so high, and it was like, come on, like, yeah, it was a good movie. Of course, if it's a good movie, people are gonna want to own it, especially in the physical media world. Like,
I think that the expectations of Hellraiser also helped it too, because half of that series most people think is just garbage. So the fact that that movie actually had a budget and like seemed serious, people were like, "Oh, this is good." Like, so
yeah, I need to watch it again. I thought if you just asked me about it right now, I thought it was more good than bad. I think there's too much of the sleekness to the designs of them. They look more like works of art as opposed to just look like people that are like looking at them would be in physical pain, which I would have preferred them be a little bit more grungier. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. I'd
as
have
far
to
as the
revisit it.
reboots go, yeah, 100%. I think the thing they did right was I really liked the Pinhead. Like I think that they did well with that. Like
Yeah, and
that
it
new
wasn't
iteration.
shown to. Yeah, Pinhead
Yeah.
wasn't in it that much. Um, I also think that another Cenobite should be able to talk. That's just me. I don't think having just Pinhead being able to talk is good. But that could be something they look into down the road.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to remember throughout the series.
Oh,
The
dude,
only
the
one we ever really
doctor in
yeah,
2 when he
yeah,
says, "And to think I hesitated," that has to be one of the best
yeah.
lines in the fucking series.
Well,
Even Doug Bradley admits it. He even says, "Oh, that's one of the greatest lines."
yeah.
He says it
And
in Search of Darkness. He's like, "Oh, it's the best."
Angelique in Bloodline is awesome too. I really like her in Bloodline. She was a nice like between her and Pinhead, that was a nice like tit for tat. I really liked that.
Dude, they I didn't know about this. So I was watching In Search of Darkness 90 through 94. The people that made those, they were kind enough to say, "Hey, we'll let you watch it. Just give us like a review for it." I said, "Sure." Dude, and they covered Hellraiser 3, and there was a lot of shit about that movie that I didn't know. I think Gary talked about it a little bit, but something happened where the company that made the first 2 sunk.
New World. Yep.
They sunk, and so somebody bought the rights to it, and then they want like I think I remember Gary talking about how Clive Barker came in to help the movie out, but the company that I think it was Lionsgate or whatever, when they bought it to do the next one, they basically said, "Hey, we need to have your name on top of this." So that's when Clive came in. But dude, I don't know. I guess what I was getting at was like watching them talk about that movie and hearing Doug talk about it. Doug loves Hellraiser 3. Like he was saying, like, no, I think Hellraiser 3 is fantastic. And I
He got
think
the most to do in that movie. He really did. Like,
and he actually said he was happy. He said he didn't want to be a character that never killed. He wanted to get more hands on. And so he said technically in 3, I have one of the highest body counts in horror history because I killed the entire nightclub. So
yeah.
no, but dude, like it was just they did a great job of covering Hellraiser 3 on that documentary, and I don't know, like I want to watch that right now instead of Christmas movies. Like I want, because now it's not cool to watch Hellraiser, right? Like who the fuck's watching Hellraiser in the middle of December? Like now I want to watch it. You know
That's
what I'm
when
saying?
the first 2 came out. I think the second one came out on Christmas Day or the day after.
Yeah. Oh, you're probably right. I mean, but
They're Christmas
dude.
movies.
You know what we need to talk about one day? I'd love for you to watch this. So, what killed me is how much they went into detail about the necromantic films. I'm sure you've at least heard about them.
I've heard that.
Those
Yeah.
German movies. They covered in detail. When I reviewed the documentary, I was talking about this. This is Necromantic 2's cover. Dude, this movie is, to say it's disturbing is an understatement. This girl literally digs up this body, puts it in her bathtub, gets in the tub with it, and the body looks absolutely decayed. It's fucked. I mean, it's truly uncomfortable. Like, I think it's worse than Serbian film. I genuinely do. It is like the first Necromantic. It's got this waltzy music stuff behind it. I think it was shot on Super 8. This one is shot on 16. But dude, this movie is fucked. And I would love to do a video about this or do an episode about these movies, like the most disturbing movies. And like, look, this was the cover art for the VHS. And like, this isn't like this legitimately happens.
What?
It's fucked. I'm telling you, it's a German.
You say you German? Okay.
And yeah, so the guy went to court and everything. They were trying to shut him down. Like, same thing like the guy who made Cannibal
Holocaust, yeah.
But dude, I'm gonna make myself rewatch this again to do a video about it. I'm gonna drop that on Christmas Day. I'm gonna drop my Necromantic 2 review on Christmas.
How have we not done that? How have we not done an episode of like the most disturbing movies?
Well, it's like, it's one thing to do. I guess it's a bit of a hesitation, because it's one thing for me to just do a video on that where I drop videos on a daily basis. And if people are like, I'm not into this stuff, well, catch me the next day. Hopefully I'll be doing something you'll like. But to do it for the month's episode, I just don't know how much of a risk it is. I don't know how many people would actually be like, yeah, I want to go there. Because when I get into this stuff, dude, I don't mince words. Like, I will talk about the shit that goes on in these movies. Obviously, I'll skate around words. I'll say great, or I'll say whatever. But I do wonder if the audience is genuinely willing to go there, I'll go there. But I don't know. Like, I always have a little bit of hesitation. So we'd have to ask the audience about that. But I'd be more than willing.
I get that, but I also say
I'm fascinated by those kinds of movies.
Yeah, I think it's a risk worth taking personally. Like, I do, and so obviously, guys, sound off down below about that. But I definitely think
I just thought about this. I watched this movie. It was fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. I pray you've seen this. If not, I need you to. It is a William Friedkin movie that I hadn't seen. It was called Bug.
Oh, from is that's post that came out after The Exorcist. That's 80s, right?
No, it was 2000's.
Wow. Hold on. Let me look it up, because hold on. As soon as I see the poster, I can tell you if I've seen it or not. William Friedkin, Bug. That's got Ashley Judd, Desert Motel. Oh, fuck. Yes. Oh, God. No, dude, that movie's disgusting. No, I did not fuck with that. I remember my mom rented this movie because this came out in 2006. Oh, no. Are you saying that's a contender for most disturbing?
Well, not most disturbing. It was amazing.
I have a weird thing about bugs, insects, just under the skin. God. I mean, I just
wait. Hold on, Nick. I gotta say, are you sure you've seen this movie?
I'm reading the synopsis
because I can't talk about this movie if you haven't.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is okay. He's not actually infected. It's it's more of a psychological in his head type shit, correct?
Yeah, he's schizophrenic.
Yes, but there's visual representation of that. Yes, I've seen this movie. I know I've seen this fucking movie.
but he's he's fucking crazy.
Yes, but
And they're in that dingy motel room.
Yes, I know I've seen this movie. I know I've seen this movie.
Yeah, I just watched the 4K of that from Kino, and I thought it was amazing. And for William to do that so much later in his career is just mind blowing.
I never had any idea that was William Friedkin. I had no idea.
I don't know if it did well or not, but no, dude, it was so good.
$4 million budget, made $8 million, so it doubled its budget.
Yeah, it must have been a small thing, but like, because it's a very small cast. There's literally only a few people in it, and it's a one set movie, so it was definitely a smaller budget film. But that guy, I forget the actor's name that played the schizophrenic military guy, but holy shit, like I was nervous watching that.
Yep, reading it, I just remembered the scene where he pulls his tooth out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
It fucked me up.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it was about the movie, but it creeped me out. Like it got under my skin. It's just like that kind of stuff. It's funny that we were just talking about Hellraiser, because it makes me think of the schizophrenic guy in Hellraiser 2 that is cutting himself because he's seeing bugs on his skin and shit.
That scene's fucked.
I can't stand that type of shit. If you want to talk about it on that next episode, I'll definitely watch it again. Because I just remember that 2 scene fucked me up. It's the same way, even in a movie like Saw the Final Chapter, when he has to pull out his 2 molars.
Yeah,
I can't do that shit. Like I can't watch that shit. Some people have weird things about eyes. Some people have weird, whatever it might be, pulling teeth, fingernails, that kind of stuff. I can't do it. I don't know. That shit just really bothers me.
Yeah. So like that movie blew me away.
That's Friedkin. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's William Friedkin. So that I'm trying to remember what else I've watched lately. That was fucking amazing. I love that so much.
Yeah, I remember he covered
everything at the end of the movie.
The fly paper, right?
Yeah, well, he had 1,000 of them all in the room.
Yeah, yep.
And then eventually he covers the entire motel room in that tinfoil with the bug lights.
Yep.
And dude, it was just dude.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
It was fucking like so good. I wouldn't say it's the best William Friedkin movie, but like it's a William Friedkin movie. And I don't know, that it was so fucking good. I don't remember hearing about that when it came out, but
I haven't heard anybody ever talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty legendary now. Like,
yeah, you're making me think back. Wow, that's crazy. I'm thinking back to when we used to watch these movies we'd rent from Blockbuster as a family, and that was one of them. That one, The Ring, Cabin Fever, like that whole era. We were renting those movies and watching them as a family. We've already talked about this before, but that's back in the days where, if I'm not mistaken, there's a sex scene in that movie too, and those were the days with mom covering the eyes. We had to sit next to my mom on the couch when we would rent these movies and watch them in case nudity came up, so she could cover our eyes. Wow. Oh God, now I'm thinking about. Oh, dude. I don't know what scene in Cabin Fever grosses me out more. The shaving of the legs in the bathtub or the fingering scene. What do you think's grosser?
When the flesh starts peeling off with the legs, like that to me was pretty fucked.
Yeah, but when he's messing with that chick and then takes his hand out, it's all bloody. And then they put her out in the fucking shed, dude.
I guess that to me, it's just like I wouldn't say it's over. I don't know. There's something about the legs that that's the one that sticks with me more than anything.
And she's still shaving it.
I hope that gets a 4K. Like I want Cabin Fever on 4K.
Just for
I think that's Lionsgate, so they could if they wanted.
And Eli Roth is,
he was in it, right? Like Eli Roth was actually in the movie.
He's in like every one of his movies. He's one of those directors. He's got to have a cameo. Even if you don't notice him in one of his movies, I think he's in every single one of his movies.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah. That's another series that I'd like to see come back is Hostel. I'd like to see a new Hostel movie. But that was I hate the term, but that era of quote unquote torture porn, that Hostel was popular in that era. I don't know if it'd be popular nowadays, but I really dug the first two Hostel movies.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
love Hostel.
Yeah.
I have to watch Hostel 3 again. I
It
have it.
was
It was kind of hard to get for a while on DVD, but I have it now.
it was fine. I mean, I get the impulse of wanting to Americanize it, like let's go to Vegas, like let's have this be more relatable to American audiences. But I actually almost preferred the European bent on it, like because it's almost like that scares you as an American, like to go travel to those places. I can't tell you. After I saw Hostel the first time, I was like, I'm not going to fucking Europe, dude. I'm not doing it. Like I'm not doing it. Like it creeped me out for a while, because it's the Wild West out there, dude. You don't know anything out there. Like you could end up in a situation like that. That's just, yeah. But I think I preferred the second one. I need to go back and watch those movies too, but I think I preferred the second one. The scene I think of in the second one that just sticks out for me forever is when she's hanging upside down above like the little pool and the chick is just laying naked under there with a scythe just cutting her up and covering herself in her blood. And I was like, this is gnarly, dude. I'm pretty sure the second one also is when a dude's wang gets cut off and fed to the dog. Yeah. Yeah.
I just remembered too, going back to Cabin Fever real quick, the fact that the guy from Boy Meets World, Ryder, his name's Ryder something. Ryder Strong being in that
I was gonna say
fucking
that, yeah.
threw me for a loop because I watched Boy Meets World religiously as a kid.
Dude, I want the 4K just so I can see Pancakes in all its glory. Like I want to. Eli Roth is such a weird director, man. Like he can do gore like nobody else, but he adds sequences in his movies that make no sense. Like
I'll tell you what I love about him for real, dude. Like I don't have the patience to sit in line and meet him like at these conventions, but when people post pictures with him, Eli Roth is wearing a House by the Cemetery shirt in one. Like he's wearing this, and like, dude, like he loves Italian horror.
Yep.
And I think he's I don't know if he's Italian. I know he's married to an Italian woman, but I think he probably is. Like he looks Italian, but like I think like he's a huge fan of that shit. I mean, he has to be, right? Because of not Green Mile. Green Inferno.
Yeah.
So
he's talked about Giallo influences before. I know he's a fan.
I wish he would just I wish he would just make one. Like I would trust him, which may be controversial. I would trust him to redo like a Tenebrae or redo something like just go like just make one. Make an American style, or not even take that back, not even American, just make a Giallo. Like could I could get behind a Eli Roth trying to do Tenebrae or something or Phenomena. Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Well,
I think people would be outraged if he did that, but I would be okay with him. I would be like, no, I trust him. I trust him.
I'm thinking of like one of the things you think of when it comes to like Italian horror and Giallo and whatnot. Like one of the things that stands out always is eyeballs. Like there's always stuff with eyeballs, and he's done eyeball gags in quite a few of his movies. I think the most notable one is Hostel, and that shit is disgusting. Do you remember that scene where her eyeball is hanging and dude has to cut it off and pus just starts squirting out of her eye?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like he's definitely a student of that. Like and I know he's talked about it too. I know he has. So yeah, I totally agree. A filmmaker working. I don't know why he ever did Borderlands, dude. I mean, I never saw it. I had no interest because I never played the games. I could have told. I made a video 6 months, not longer than 6 months ago, talking about movies that were going to flop or be hits this year, and I said Borderlands is going to be a flop. Nobody's going to go see this movie. It made no sense why that was the thing. You made that movie a little too late.
He did the screenplay for it too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wikipedia says it cost $120 million. Oh my God. Holy shit.
I don't even think it broke 30 worldwide, did it?
It says 33.
Okay.
So
Wow.
let's just say 33. Dude, the cast just looks ridiculous. Like Jamie Lee Curtis on the cover of this just looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Part of it's not Eli's fault. That movie was in
Kevin
development
Hart.
hell. Yeah, it was in development hell for years. Like when they first started working on Borderlands, the game was really popular, but it languished for years. And I think they had put so much time and money into it. They were like, we're going to finish it. Screw it. Even though nobody cares anymore. So it's just like, it was probably a tax write-off for the studio. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Like they don't even care, but it sucks because I like Eli as a director. And, I know he's going to get some of the shit for that. Like, oh, well, he directed that piece of shit. Okay. Well, how many directors have directed a bona fide piece of shit? Almost all of them have. It is.
Listen to this. Listen to this. All right. So in the United States and Canada, Borderlands was released alongside It Ends With Us and Kuko and projected to gross $8 million from 3,000 theaters opening weekend, 8 to 16 million. The film made 4 on its first day, including a 1.2 million from Thursday. It ended up debuting with 8.6, finishing in 4th. It made 2.4 in that second weekend, so it really tanked the second weekend. Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two Interactive and the parent company of Gearbox, said in November of 2024, even though the film was disappointing, it actually benefited our catalog sales in terms of the video game series, but also stated they will remain selective about future video game. So what does he mean by that? It actually benefited our catalog sales.
I mean, maybe it made people go back and buy the game because they were like, I want to play the good game. This movie sucked. It's almost like that. It's like a nostalgia thing. It's like, how often do we see things come out that are just, they try to crib off of something that used to be popular. It pisses everybody off. And then the old thing gets resurgence because people go back to what they remembered and what they loved. So I don't know why he would say that as a positive. It's not really a positive. And if that is true, that could be total, just like executive bullshit that he's spewing. But like, if that is true, that's almost an indictment on your movie. Like, people went back to what they liked because nobody liked that. So awesome, I guess. I don't know. Eli just needs to focus on Thanksgiving and John Carver. Okay. I saw a write-up the other day by Variety. I'm really excited because I started to worry. We hadn't heard a lot about it. I know he's taken a year off of it, but I was like, after Borderlands flopping too, I was like, I really hope the studio doesn't get cold feet. And he said that they're raring to go. They're going to start filming in March. It'll be out next November. And I was like, dude, hell yeah. All right. Like, this is going to I'm always weary about movies after they've been announced, dude, until they start shooting. I'm always weary about it until I know cameras are rolling. Like, I'm still weary about the Batman Part 2. I'm still, because it still hasn't started shooting. And like, until those cameras roll, I'm just gonna be like, oh, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too at Thanksgiving because it was successful, I guess. I mean, it says it made 46 million against a $15 million budget.
Yeah.
And that was under Sony
and Spyglass, yeah.
Spyglass. So I don't know, like, I don't believe that budget. It might have been cheaper than that.
I don't necessarily believe it either, but I guess the way, looking at that at face value, it made 3 times its budget. So by every metric, it was in the black for sure. It made money. How much did it actually make at the end of the day? Probably just a couple million. But I appreciate Spyglass and Sony going, we might have something here. Was the first one a runaway hit? No, but it made us money. And you and I both know, dude, how hard is it to create a new horror franchise? It's hard. I mean, it's really hard.
And I'm sure, those movies do good on physical media still to this day too. So,
and I guarantee you
pretty well.
Oh, Thanksgiving 2 will probably double what the first one made. Just like the Terrifier movies. Once you get your foot in the door, people start talking about it on social media. Home video sales are good. That sequel is usually when you really start to see the doors kind of blow off.
I hope this time we actually get like a turkey popcorn bucket.
Oh, dude, I'm going to be so pissed if we don't get something. Yeah, but you know what it'll be. It'll probably be like a John Carver popcorn bucket.
Dude, speaking of popcorn buckets, I have got to go back and try this weekend.
Nosferatu?
Yeah, I tried the one 30 minutes from me, the Cinemark closer to me, and they didn't have it. I got the Gladiator 2 Coliseum though. I saw Gladiator for the first time a while back. I just never seen it. And I love that, and I wanted to see 2, but I'm just like, I'll just wait to see it on.
A
I'll
lot
wait
of
to see it on
people,
home video.
a lot of people are saying it's decent to pretty good, but it's not as good as the first one. I mean, it's typical sequel, so I get that. No, I know you don't watch trailers and stuff, and especially for something you're going to see, which I think it is a good rule to have.
Mhm.
But today they released like a 20-second clip of Bill Skarsgård's voice as Count Orlok. You don't see him. They still have not shown us what he looks like, and I think that's the right impulse. But I did watch the clip to hear his voice, and his voice actually is like really deep. Like he actually really did that. Like I said, it's cool. I like his voice
high
a lot.
hopes, dude. I really do have high hopes. I hope it's successful above anything. If people don't like it, that's fine, but I just hope it's successful.
Well, I'm going Christmas night. My 19-year-old brother, or 20, God, he's 20 now. My 20-year-old brother, all my siblings and everything, they all descend upon my house the week of Christmas. They stay here for a couple days. He texted me the other day. He said, "Hey, are you trying to see Nosferatu when we're all in town?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm going Christmas night." And he's like, "Oh, I want to go." So yeah, we're gonna go Christmas night, and not for any particular reason aside from the fact that, like, one, I've never been to the movies on Christmas, and my brother goes back the 26th, I think. So, like, if we're going to see it, we have to see it opening night.
Right.
But also, I've been kind of in a lull. I haven't gone to the theater in a while. So, like, you know what? Like, yeah, let's go see it. Like, I want to go out. I want to see it when it comes out. So, that'll give us something to talk about too next month's episode at the beginning of the month.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
All right, y'all. Well, we're going to wrap it here. You heard it here first. Next month's episode, we're going to talk about some straight-to-DVD horror movies from the 2000s, a golden era of when, obviously, Christian and I were growing up and renting movies, and we watched a lot of this shit. And there's a lot of really good ones, and there's a lot of really bad ones. So we're going to communicate with each other over the next couple weeks of what ones we have seen, what ones we haven't seen, what ones we need to see, all that kind of stuff. So that'll be fun. Also, I want you guys to sound off below and let us know if the topic of most disturbing movies we've ever seen is something that, excites you. Is that something you want to do? Because let me tell you guys something. I'm sure Christian has seen dozens of movies that are just like beyond the pale, like that no human should ever watch. So let us know down below if you guys want to do that. We won't be seeing you guys again until after Christmas. So to everybody, Merry Christmas. Have a happy holiday season. Spend it with friends, family, loved ones, animals, whoever it is you spend it with. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it's happy, healthy, and safe. Christian, before you go, is there anything you want to say to the peeps?
No, just everybody have a great Christmas. Have a great New Year's. And just spend it with your families, be safe, and hopefully we just keep everything rolling in 2025 and things just get bigger and better. That's about it. I mean, time's flying pretty soon. I'll be saying the same thing for 2026. So just try to savor the moment every day, guys. Time's just flying by faster and faster and faster. I feel like I'm on Interstellar.
I know, I'm 30 next week. So I'm about to enter my dirty 30s. So, but
this is what you have to look forward to.
Hell yeah.
See how shitty I look.
All right, guys. Well, again, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like on here. And again, guys, comment down below. We will visit this comment section. We'd love to discuss this stuff with you guys. So please comment down below. Share your thoughts on anything and everything we talked about today. Until next month, we love y'all. Keep it classy or trashy or whatever you want to do. And we'll see you in the new year.